Call it the first jewel in United States horse racing's Triple Crown of racing, and I refer to the Kentucky Derby. And it was run this morning our time. And as I said, just going into the break, it was a rags to rich story, successful for Smarty Jones. We'll tell you more about it in just a moment, but here's the action of the Kentucky Derby for 2004.
In the Kentucky Derby, Imperialism got a little bump from the cliff's edge at the start. Read the footnotes, comes away in good order, and there's Lionheart's. Imperialism is pisking his way through, down toward the inside, not to the outside, and Master David follows him. They're 12 lengths from the lead as Lionheart turns for home, and undefeated Smarty Jones comes wide off the turn, and these two hook up at the top of the stretch. Lionheart is all heart, Smarty Jones is all out, and those two deadlocked at the 8th pole. By journeyman jockey Stuart Elliott, and they have taken the lead away from Lionheart. Farther back, it's Limehouse and Imperialism, and here is the first undefeated winner of the Kentucky Derby since Seattle Slough in 1977. Smarty Jones has done it. Limehouse was second.
Yeah, he went into the race undefeated, and the first horse to do so since Seattle Slough did exactly the same back in 1977. Now, the first prize money was just over $850,000 US, but because he was undefeated going into the race and winning the race, he earned a $5 million bonus. But the story doesn't end there. It's a story of the success of the Battlers, really. The horse from, I think, from Philadelphia.
Yeah, you know, out-of-town tracks, and, you know, he's Quantum Leap, this horse. He's just gone from the provincial tracks to there. Yeah. And, yeah, as you say, little-known jockey and trainer, but interesting story with the horse, too. Apparently, as a young horse, when they were educating him, he fractured his skull. He reared up and hit his head in the, you know, an upright in the barrier, and it was a very, very sick horse for a long while. He was lucky to survive, I'm told, and he's just come back and maybe he's knocked a bit of sense into him or something, but he's a very, very smart horse, Michael.
Yeah, I'll say he's a bit like Seabiscuit, isn't he? He's a similar story, but...
I'll make a movie out of it, for sure.
Well, I mean, gee whiz, you know, like he's a little midget, and, you know, as Wayne pointed out, he belted his head in the barriers, and, yeah, no, it's great to see that sort of thing. I'd like to own him.
And it just goes to show that, you know, the class factor these days is really irrespective, because horses come from far and wide anywhere now and still compete at the best level. Class, it's gone. It's just perfect.
There's hope for everyone else.
Yes, indeed there is.
Let's have a look at some fabulous racing yesterday at Morfordville, the Group 3 Mackay Stakes.
Throw that his chance again.
OK, now let's have a look at some racing yesterday at Rosehill Gardens, and the Jack Daniels handicap was race 1. This is for the 2-year-olds. Anthony Cummings got a pretty smart one here. Outback Princeton, by golly, they backed it. It's in the green colours, getting between runners now. Watch the run of Saxon.
Doubtful choice on the outside, and Outback Prince is getting between Frozen Valor and Sectagonal, and this heavily back commodity quickly shot to the front. Down past the distance at the 200, and Outback Prince looks the winner. Irate well clear of Frozen Valor. Saxon, the newcomer, the beautifully bred horse, getting home late, but Outback Prince lands some big bets. Outback Prince bolts in from Saxon and Frozen Valor. Then Chelsea Rose.
Yes, Ian's spot on there. They really backed it yesterday. Saxon, good run second, Frozen Valor third, and you were pretty keen on it too.
Yeah, look, I thought he had a great chance there, that horse yesterday. He'd had 5 runs this campaign. He'd been consistent in each of them, and to use one of Wayne's phrases, he did take a quantum leap yesterday. He went ahead about 6 or 7 kilos on his rating, really decimated the field. It wasn't a particularly strong field, but gee, he did pretty easily. I think there's plenty of wins in store for this horse, Wayne.
Yeah, I think the race was sort of put on for him a bit too, Michael. Like, the 3 leaders went pretty hard in front, I think, and the favourite was Sectagonal. I think it probably took the wind out of its sails, and he just got the splits, and, you know, good ride by Jay Ford. He summed the race up pretty well, and the horse did sprint home quite well.
Even though it did get every conceivable chance in running, it still appeared to rate fairly well with every other 1,200 metre race on the card, Michael.
Oh, definitely, and you know, you could see him at the finish there. He was cruising to the line. You know, as Wayne said, it was put on for him, but he still managed to, you know, look, he just cruises away from it. He gives him a few smacks with a whip, but he sort of just coasts the last bit. I like the way he stretched out this horse. He ran the good time.
And he seems to still do a few things wrong, a little on the green side, so there obviously could be a little bit of improvement in him as well.
I think the second horse there, Saxon, Dane Hill horse, he ran home quite well. I think he could be the horse to follow out the race. Oh, you know, apart from the winner, it was a very, very good win.
Did you mention Sectagonal?
I did. He started favourite. I think they took the wind out of his sails, the 3 of them going so hard up front.
Yep. OK. Righto, let's move on to the Ranvet series. This was for the mares, and by golly, If ever a mare deserved to return to the winners list, it's Forum Floozy. Beautiful ride by young Todd Pannell, his first win in town. Broke a bit of runabouts for John Hawkes in Sydney, and Forum Floozy back to the winners list, moving up out deep.
At the 300, and young Pannell calls upon Forum Floozy now, and the mare hits the front. Liberty Rose, a big danger on the outside, then Chasseresse. Incarnation's gone. Forum Floozy, the leader narrowly from Liberty Rose. With My Late, then Chasseresse. Forum Floozy pulling out plenty. A well-deserved win. Forum Floozy beat Liberty Rose and With My, then Chasseresse.
Yeah, Forum Floozy, Liberty Rose, With My, copybook ride by that boy.
Well, as young Todd Pannell, John Hawkes doesn't have many apprentices in his camp. Or, he doesn't like to, but young Todd Pannell, his father is foreman for John Hawkes in Adelaide, so he's quite a good young kid too, and he's done a bit of travelling. He started off down in Adelaide, come to Sydney here for a while, back to Melbourne, and he's in Brisbane at the moment.
Yeah, I think the key to that race was, we all know the Duff owns that horse, Forum Floozy.
That's why he's not here this morning. He's home counting the money, right?
I think so. He might still be out celebrating, but I think the key to this ride was the fact that they went forward on Forum Floozy. She's always a horse that's ridden back. There was a distinct lack of pace in that race yesterday, and I'm sure Ronnie was aware of that, and that's why they went up. And it was a lovely ride. One out, one back, came three wide. Liberty Rose looked like it was going to get it here. Did shift out slightly, but to his credit, he straightened it up and was holding it safely on the line. But yeah, well-deserved win.
She was just too good for that field too. She only got beat 2.5 lengths in the Doncaster, So, as you say, any of the senior riders couldn't have ridden it as well as young Todd.
What a valuable breed mare. She's will make, eh? Wow.
More money for the Duff.
Oh, good on you, Duff. You deserve it too. Righto, now let's move on to race number 8, the last race, the Sir James Series, 1,200 metres. Words of Magic with Jay Ford aboard. It's a double for him. Big run by Casino Night, and Recurring comes from a long way back. We'll tell you about the protest in a tick.
Century Kid, Scottish Pride over near the fences. Seances would need a big sprint from there. Sintrail joined by Words of Magic and Domingos, and then Casino Night. Words of Magic a clear leader now. Casino Night coming after Words of Magic. Words of Magic in front and wins. Words of Magic beat Casino Night. Recurring flew for third.
It did fly for third, Recurring, and the jockey protested for alleged interference at the 150 metre mark. It did shift out, but Casino Night's run was terrific, and Recurring, well, it's old habits. It did miss the start slightly again yesterday.
Slightly after it stood in the boxes in the all-age stakes and was ordered a barrier trial. Then won a barrier trial, I think it was last Tuesday. It did come out a bit tardily and settled well back, and this was like a fairly big field here, and he had to weave through. He got a check at about the 300, then protested against Casino Night. I thought it was a pretty ambitious protest, and I heard Ray Murray say that he told the jockeys not to go too far away. Basically saying that this wouldn't take too long. It was marginally inconvenienced by the second horse, but not enough to take the race off it. Words of Magic had every possible chance in behind them, went up to challenge the tiring leader there, which was Sin City, I think, got to the lead, was holding on, and then the second horse flashed home. I thought probably one of the good runs in the race was Domingos. It was 4 and 5 wide the whole race, up on the speed. It sort of moved up to challenge at around about the 200. It died on its run slightly, obviously it had to, and it just held on for fourth.
You got your heart in your mouth and your back Recurring. She's always a target at the barrier, and she's probably going to always do that,
Being a back marker too, they've got to make their own luck.
I thought the best run race was definitely the second horse, Casino Night. He's a smart horse. There wasn't much between the whole field there. They've pretty blanket finish, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, they're still celebrating in Hong Kong about their champion sprinter. They claim it's the world's best sprinter, and I refer to Silent Witness. You've always had a high rating in this, haven't you?
Well, today the